Okay, well, let's start then. So I'm happy to see you both here. I had so much fun last time, so I'm looking forward to this. Let's start warming up the body gently. I'd like you to perhaps make a little padding here with the blanket. Come kneeling onto the blanket. Let's open the hips right away. Stepping 1 foot forward and then lunging forward and then returning back to center. And you can breathe in the same rhythm, exhaling as you go down and inhale as you go up. Feeling the stretch in the hip flexor. And now let's stay in the lunge. You can use your hands to push your upper body into an arch, deepens the stretch, and breathe normally. Good, and let's come back up and change the leg. Do it on the other side. Exhaling as we lunge. Inhaling as we come back up. Really paying attention to the stretch. Let's stay down here now. Arching the back slightly, gently. Taking note of how the body is feeling today. Is there some part that is more tense? Something that needs relaxing? And good, come back up. Let's do this to the side. So taking the left foot to the side, to the same line as the knee, or approximately, and then lunging to the side, and then again up to the rhythm of the breath. Here, let's pay attention to the lower back so that it doesn't overarch. So if that starts happening, maybe not go as deep, or really pay attention to tucking the pelvis in, tilting the tailbone down toward between the legs. Let's now stay in the lunge. This is a tough one for me, I can say, but something that is very good for the flexibility of the hips. Shoulders facing forward. Very good. Let's return to center and repeat on the other side. Moving to the rhythm of the breath. Yeah, it's a good opener for sure. And then let's stay in the lunge. Maybe making note of where the body you can feel the stretch. Is it just the hip? Is it the other side also? Just being very present in the body. Excellent, let's come back up. Great. So let's stand up now. I love this spine warm up. Let's start moving the hips and keeping the shoulders in one place, back and forth. So the spine gets a really nice twist. Use the abs and notice how they also have to work. And then control that the shoulders are not moving. Back and forth. Now we can stop the hips and do the same with the shoulders. Now the hips stay in one place and only shoulders move. Breathing normally. Very nice. Good. Now side to side. Trying to keep the shoulders again in one place and just sliding the hips from side to side. So a little bit of a side bend to the spine. And now we can do it with the shoulders only. So leading with the shoulder to both walls here, trying to keep the hips in one place. Yeah. Good. All the muscles of the trunk have to work pretty hard for this. Good. Let's do some shoulder rotations. Squeezing those muscles around the shoulders. Here you can breathe in when you rotate up and breathe out when you rotate down if you'd like. And let's reverse. All right, very good. Let's do a little bit for the neck. So small rotations where you kind of a little bit tense the muscles of the neck. So rotate small circle as if there was just like a small coin size that you're drawing with the top of the head, and reversing. And then big circles with no tension at all, but trying to avoid crackling sounds. And then reverse. Very good. Okay, a few ankle rotations to both directions. And I think we're ready to start our practice. Good. Okay. So I like to start with the balancing pose. So today is going to be Ganapati Asana, Ganapati's pose. So just quick demo. Starting with our arms up and then hinging forward. If you can, to a horizontal from the foot to the hands. But if not, you can definitely be in a little bit less of a horizontal position there. Also, there's some wall space here, so if you'd like, you can always also use the wall to balance if that makes it easier. So there's some options here. So we'll start with the left leg. Bring the weight to the left and keep the knee a little bit bent again so it doesn't lock. Inhale your arms up. And then hinge forward as you exhale, bringing the right leg back up with you in the same line as the arms and the back, reaching for the horizontal position and keeping the hips in one level if possible, not lifting the right hip, feeling a sense of freedom here and mentally affirming. And what is the affirmation? I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. And let's exit. Let's inhale, bang, come back upright. Exhale, arms down. Very invigorating, balancing pose. Closing the eyes for a second, just feeling the body, enjoying the effect of the pose. And now repeating on the other side. Now the left knee is a little bit bent. Inhale, arms up. Exhale and hinge forward. Also, a variation is to bring the hands to the sides, a little bit easier to balance like an airplane. Very nice. And if you want a challenge, you can bring the hands together and look up through the hands. Very nice. Continuing to affirm. I sail serenely through skies of inner freedom. And let's exit. Inhale. Bring your body upright. Exhale. Relax the arms down. Again, taking a moment to enjoy the effects of the pose. Noticing the warmth, perhaps in the leg muscles, maybe in the upper back, lower back. Great. The next pose is Prasarita Padottanasana, the wide standing fold. So we start from a wide stance this time to go to our forward bend. First the active phase and then finally the relaxation phase. So again, let's keep a lot of attention to the lower back so that as we hinge to the first phase that we don't let the back round. Okay, so let's inhale, circle the arms up, and exhale, circling arms down toward the thighs and then hinging at the same time, keeping the back straight, paying attention to the lower back, and the head is in the same alignment as the rest of the body. You can use your hands to push your spine a little bit longer, but relax the shoulders. You can bend your knees if this is a little bit uncomfortable for the lower back or the legs. Breathe naturally. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale and release the head toward the floor. Your hands can be on the floor, around the ankles, or you can also hug the shoulders, the elbows to get a little bit more pull and a deeper stretch. Letting everything go, all worries, concerns, as you mentally affirm, I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. Breathing space into the areas where you feel the stretch. And exhaling the tension away. Take a couple more breaths here. And to exit, let's bend the knees, bring the hands to the floor. Inhale as you push yourself up with a straight spine. Bring the arms above the head, and then exhaling, arms down, stepping the feet back to Tadasana, the standing mountain pose. Now noticing the energy release in the backs of the legs, maybe in the lower back, bringing that energy into the spine and up the spine to the point between the eyebrows. Consciously drawing energy there. Very nice. The next pose is Freedom Pose Muktasana. It's a backward bend, which looks like this. So it might look like it's a pretty mild backward bend, but it shouldn't feel mild. So lift the chest strongly here. So starting from Tadasana, bringing the left foot first, about 3 to 4 feet, so about a little bit less than a meter. And the leg can be a little bit open. So if it's hard to keep them facing forward, the toes pointing forward, then you can open the leg, the foot in the back first a little bit. Bend the right knee over the ankle, and let's inhale the arms up. Exhale and relax the shoulders, bend the elbows, and now with the second inhalation, lifting the chest up into a graceful backward bend. Breathing smoothly and normally, naturally. Lifting the chest to feel the bend, feel the tension, the energy in the upper back. Also lifting energy here from the legs up toward the brain. Noticing the feeling of freedom that accompanies this pose. Mentally affirming, I am free, I am free. And to exit, let's step forward, reaching tall, stretching out, exhaling, relaxing the arms down. Noticing again the effects of the pose. Bringing energy upward toward the brain. Okay, let's repeat on the other side now. Stepping the right foot back about a little bit less than a meter or whatever feels comfortable. Bending the left knee over the ankle. Let's inhale. Circle the arms up. Exhale, relax the arms, the shoulders, and then another inhalation to open the chest, lift the chest up. Into a graceful backward bend. The head is in the same alignment as the rest of the spine, so let's not jackknife the head too far back. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Inviting energy up through the back leg, into the spine, to the brain. Affirming. Mentally only, I am free, I am free. Very nice. And with your next inhalation, stepping forward, stretching tall, exhaling, the arms down. Taking note of what's happening in the body, moving the energy consciously, and enjoying the effects of the pose. Very good. The next pose is Trikonasana, the triangle pose. Kind of similar to the warrior that we did last week, starting with the wide stance, but this time we will bring the spine into a slight, it's not really even a sideways bend, but we're moving it to the side and then bring the arms up and one just straight down here and relaxed way, not putting any pressure on the knee, keeping the knee slightly bent here, even more if need be, so that it doesn't lock. Here, it's very easy to create a sway back. I have that problem, so I you can see a big arch there. So then, really bringing the pelvis in here, tucking the pelvis, or having a little bit less wide stance. This one is a very energizing and joyful pose. So we'll turn the left foot out 90 degrees. We'll keep the leg straight this time, slightly bent knee so it's not locking the knee. And the right foot, the toes come in a little bit so that your feet or the toes are pointing in the same direction as the hip, like in the warrior pose we did. Let's inhale our arms to horizontal and then reach to the left, and the hip moves to the other direction. And then as we exhale, we drop the left arm down and right arm up. Good. And the idea is to keep the spine straight, not reach too far toward the floor, so that you create a sideways arc. You can look up toward the right hand if that feels good for your back, for your neck, and breathe smoothly and naturally. Lots of energy in this pose. Let's affirm mentally. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. Feel free to come out of the pose anytime you need to. And to exit, let's bend the left knee. Inhale, push ourselves up, reaching tall, exhaling, the arms down. Noticing the effects of the pose again. Lifting energy upward. Very nice. Let's repeat on the other side. So let me show one more time. So the hips go to the other direction as the spine, directly to the side. Okay, so this time we'll turn the right foot out 90 degrees, check the alignment of the left foot, and then Chest is squared. Inhale your arms to horizontal and also reach with the right hand, keeping the back straight. Exhale, drop the right hand, and inhale again, bringing the left hand up. And if it feels good for the neck, you can turn to look up toward the left hand. Breathing naturally and smoothly. If at any time the breathing becomes difficult, back off a little bit. Maybe have a little bit less wide stance. And press down with your feet, keeping the right knee slightly soft or bent. Affirming mentally, energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. Invite that joy down your arm into the body. Looks good. Couple more breaths here. And let's bend the right knee. Inhale. Come back up. Exhale. The arms down. Stepping the feet back to Tadasana. Integrating the effect of the pose. Bringing attention to all the body parts. You feel energy flowing. Inviting the energy upward. It's a very invigorating pose. Lots of energy there. I love it. Now let's move on to the floor. We have a forward bend, Sasamgasana hair pose. So this one, I'll again briefly show it. Starts from child's pose. We wrap our hands around the ankles with the thumb around the ankle bone here. So to get a good grasp. And with an inhalation, lifting the buttocks up, straightening the hands, and only lightly touching the top of the head on the floor. And if it's difficult, if you feel like you're kind of, the movement keeps going and you might even fall, then you can wrap your arms around the thighs instead. All right, so let's get into child's pose here. Wrapping the hands around the ankles and the ankle bone. And then inhaling, lifting the buttocks, straightening the arms, bringing the forehead toward the knees in a way that the top of the head only lightly touches the floor. We're not putting any pressure on the head here. Breathing smoothly. Enjoying the effect of energy moving forward, yet holding yourself back with your arms. And mentally affirming, I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. Actively pushing your buttocks forward and holding on with the arms. I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. And to exit, bring the buttocks down on the legs. You can stay here in child's pose if this feels comfortable for you, or push yourself up to on, what is this pose called? What? Firm pose. Yes, thank you. I didn't do this very often. Yes, just noticing the energy. Takes a lot of energy from the buttocks to hold this pose. Bringing the energy upward. Excellent. So the next pose is Purvottanasana, front stretching pose. It's also a pretty invigorating pose. And you can start from this kind of upside down tabletop with your hands, fingers pointing toward the feet. If need be, you can fold the yoga mat or take a blanket under your hands. We lift ourselves to this upside down tabletop, and from here, moving the legs, feet back to straighten the legs and come into a pretty strong backward bend. But you can also just stay in this pose here. The head can be in the same alignment as the rest of the spine, but also you can bring it to the chest if it's a little bit difficult to keep the head back. So pretty strong, energizing pose here. And can be a little bit tough on the wrist, so use something to soften underneath if needed. So the knees are bent slightly. And with an inhalation, lifting the buttocks up, chest comes open. And if it feels good, bring the feet further away so that you can come into a straight line, lifting from the chest into a nice backward bend. But of course, you can bend the knees if it feels better to stay in this reverse table. Lift up from the chest and feel energy flowing upward, mentally affirming, with a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. And to exit, just bring your buttocks down on the floor. You can take a moment in any comfortable seated position. Enjoying that invigorating energy in the spine, in the back muscles. Bring the energy up. Very good. So our next pose is Parikasana, the gate pose. It's a sideways bend for the spine. Another energizing pose. And I like to have something under my knees because my knees are a little bit sensitive. And slightly similar starting position as we had in the warm-up. We keep the thigh vertical and only slightly rest the arm on the leg. You can even bring it to the front so that we don't put any pressure on the knee here. With an inhalation, we bring the arm up and exhale to a sideways bend. Again, not going too far so that it becomes difficult to breathe. Just whatever feels comfortable. Here again, keeping attention to the lower back that it doesn't start to arch too much. So we'll start to the left. Foot is around the same level as the knee. The left hand is just gently on the leg here. And let's keep that thigh vertical. Good, exactly. Yes. Perfect. Let's inhale the right arm up, reach tall, and exhale, bending to the left, reaching up through the crown of the head. And if it feels good, you can turn the head to look up, kind of through the upper arm here. Not at the hand, but sort of through the arm. Again, breathing smoothly and naturally. Again, bringing energy up through the spine. Affirming mentally, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Relax the shoulder. And let's exit, inhale, come back to upright. Exhale your arm down. You can take a moment in firm pose or any other comfortable seated position. Sideways bends are excellent for breathing and opening breathing. So let's notice any changes in the quality of our breathing. And now let's repeat on the other side. Bring the right foot to the side. If it's difficult to keep the foot on the floor, it's totally okay to lift the toes up or place something under the toes, like the second blanket you have. Again, checking that the left thigh is vertical. And let's inhale, circle left arm up. Exhale, bending to the right, not twisting or turning or leaning forward or backward, simply bending to the right this time. Keeping the breath flowing smoothly. And if it feels good for your head to look up through the arm, the hand is facing the foot. Enjoying the energizing effects of this pose. Again, repeating mentally. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Inviting energy up the spine to the head, the point between the eyebrows, the brain. And let's exit, inhale, reach tall, exhale, relax the arm down. Again, can pause in any comfortable seated position. Sideways bends they open the spine and also energize the spine at the same time. It's very good for the mobility also. Let's bring the energy in the spine upward to the point between the eyebrows. Right, it's time for the spinal twist. This time seated. We'll use a blanket to sit on, helps us keep the back straight. The goal is to only twist the spine and not have any other movements there. So, let's see, which way should I show this? We go into the pose with 3 breaths and then come out with 1 breath. So with the first breath, we rotate only the lower spine, inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhaling first just twisting the lower spine, inhaling again to lengthen, then we exhale and now twist the upper spine, and then with the third exhalation, we turn the head. So a very controlled twist. And we will twist to the left first. I'll try to be your mirror here. So the right knee is pointing forward on the floor and left foot is on the outside of the knee. If this is uncomfortable, there's quite a few options. You can have the left foot on the inside of the knee. You can straighten the right foot and have the knee over, or even like this. So whatever feels comfortable. And the left hand can either be on the floor, sort of as a kickstand here to help you keep the back straight, or if it's more comfortable, you can also bring it to just touching the lower back. And then the right hand is on the knee. Great, we're ready. So, and let's check that our weight is evenly on both sit bones. Good, so let's inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, and only rotate the lower spine to the left. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, rotate the upper spine, still keeping the head neutral. Inhale 1 more time. And now exhale, twisting the neck. Now you can hug the knee with your elbow if that feels better, or you can just simply keep the hand on the knee. Looks wonderful. Looks great. This pose opens the chest area very nicely. So let's focus in that area, the heart and the openness there. Let's affirm mentally. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. And to exit, we'll do it in the opposite direction, but with 1 breath only. So with 1 exhalation first, turning the head back to center, then the upper spine, and then the lower spine. So let's inhale, lengthen the spine 1 more time. And then exhale, first the head, then the upper back, and then the lower back. We can sit and rest in this victorious pose if that feels good, or any comfortable seated position. Twists are very good for the spine, especially the little pads in between, but also it's very good for the digestion. So if there are any digestive issues, this could be a good one to try. Yoga in general can be very helpful that way. The twist also brings a lot of energy to the spine. So let's enjoy that feeling and lifting the spine, the energy up the spine to the point between the eyebrows. And let's repeat to the other direction, reversing the position of the feet and legs. Bring the hand where you like to have it, behind your body, and then the left hand at the knee, the right knee. Again, let's try to go into the pose with one exhalation, but still in the same order as we did last time. So let's inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, first rotating the lower spine, then the upper spine, and then finally the neck. Keep the weight evenly on both sit bones. Spine long, shoulders even. Just open. Opening the heart area. Letting compassion, goodwill, affection flow to family members, friends, strangers, as we mentally affirm, I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. Beautiful. To exit, let's inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, first roll at the neck, then the upper back, and then the lower back. Now perhaps noticing the effect of this pose in the belly area, in the internal organs. They call it the squeeze and soak effect. First you squeeze out blood from those organs, and then as you wind out, then new fresh blood can flow into those inner organs, refreshing them. Just taking a moment to enjoy this feeling. Pausing and feeling. Now I thought I'd do a couple of inversions to close our active poses. Inversion sounds more kind of crazy than it really is, but the first one is Karnapirasana, the ear closing pose. So that's why I brought you a couple of blankets this time, because there's a lot of pressure that goes on the neck here, so it's better to have even a couple of blankets. So stacking them on the mat. So I'll just quickly show what I mean here. Hopefully not crushing the mic. So the shoulders are on the blankets, head is not on the blanket. Bringing the legs up controlledly, with control, and then bringing them overhead, bending the knees so that the knees come close to the ears. If they don't reach the floor, that's fine, no problem. The toes are, the top of the foot is on the floor. So even here, I don't quite reach the floor, but that's okay. An important thing here is not to turn the head as you are putting pressure on the neck. And then when we exit, bringing the back down one vertebra at a time, using the hands to control the movement. Okay. If this feels like too much for you, you can always do bridge pose that we did last time. Bring the shoulders in if that feels good. So there's a couple of options, of course. But again, here the shoulders are on the blanket, the head is off the blanket. There's about 2-3 inches, so that is a little under 10 centimeters between the edge of the blanket and the shoulders. Bring the hands on the floor, palms down, so you can use your hands, your arms, to bring legs up. So let's lift the legs to vertical, straight legs first, and then further over the head. So you can bring your hands to the floor, maybe that will help push your legs up and overhead. Good. And the knees, they can come to the floor, or if that's difficult, anything. Okay, why don't you try the bridge pose? That's still a very good inversion and brings energy to the brain. And if you want to interlace the hands to bring the shoulders underneath to get a little bit deeper, that's very good. Just let's avoid turning the head when we're in the inversion. Breathing naturally and smoothly. Affirming mentally, my boat of life floats smoothly on tides of peace. My boat of life floats lightly on tides of peace. Feel free to come out of the pose if you need to. Let's take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, straighten the legs a little bit in the ear closing pose and release, using your hands to bring your legs back to the floor and your spine one vertebra at a time, releasing it down. And bend your knees a little bit if needed. Very good. Taking a moment in Shavasana, the corpse pose, enjoying the effects of the pose. And now you can remove the blanket from underneath. We'll do the fish pose, Matsyasana, to reverse the movement to the neck, so to kind of release some energy there. I can briefly show it. Again, we'll bring our hands under the buttocks. And then lifting the chest up, coming into a backward bend, and only lightly resting the back at the top of the head on the floor. And exiting in a controlled way so that it's not harmful for the neck. So you can slide the head lightly on the mat as you return. Yeah, so let's lie on the mat. Bring the hands under the buttocks. Legs are straight and active. And with an inhalation, using the elbows and your back muscles to lift the chest up. The head is in the same alignment as the rest of the spine. And only slightly putting pressure on the head, very lightly. So lifting strongly from the chest. Looks good. Yes, looks very good. Opening the chest up. I know this is a very vigorous pose, but use your willpower to get a sense of relaxation as well. So for mentally, my soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Very nice. Now we can exit. Slowly slide the head forward, up or upward, and return your back to the floor, releasing your arms. If you want, you can take the blanket out for our deep relaxation in Shavasana. Cover yourself. You can place your hand on your chest if you'd like me to cover you. And I also have a couple adjustments if you would like. Okay, so at the end of a yoga class, yes, it feels very good to relax in Shavasana, but also it's meant to help you get the most out of your practice. So let's not let the energy go outward from your limbs. Bring it inward to the spine, as we've been doing all this time in our practice, so that this energy can be utilized better, help us energize and refresh the brain. So you can have your legs slightly wider, arms maybe about 45 degrees with your hands, palms facing upward. Letting the body relax completely. You can do a quick body scan to see what's going on in the body, squeezing the area where you feel a tension, to increase tension there for a moment, and then as you release the tension, it's easier to let it relax. You can even tense the whole body with the double inhalation if the whole body needs to get a little bit more relaxation in. Mentally affirm bones, muscles, movement. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, and depression. Churning thoughts. All these I give into the hands of peace. Imagining you're floating lightly in space, above, underneath, to all directions. Peaceful space. Let's begin to wiggle our toes and fingers. Slowly bring our awareness back to the room, making the movement bigger, involving the legs, the arms. You can turn your head from side to side. And hug the knees to your chest. Perhaps giving a little massage for the back by swaying from side to side, maybe front to back. And then turning onto the right side. Rotating on the right side, pausing there for a moment. And then pushing yourself up as you're ready to a comfortable seated position for a brief meditation to close our evening. Trying to keep a still interiorized attention. Sitting with the tall, straight spine, hands with palms up on the legs, to the junction of the thighs and abdomen, chin level, shoulders relaxed, chest open, becoming aware of the breath. Noticing the movements of the diaphragm. Let's uplift our gaze behind closed eyes as if there was a mountain peak in the distance that you were looking at. Very gently, eyes soft. And now let's notice the air flowing in the lungs. In the trachea. In the throat. And finally, in the nose. Watch the breath flow in and out through the nostrils. Noticing the exact spot in your nose where you can feel the air flowing most easily. Keeping the gaze uplifted, body relaxed. Simply watching the breath. Notice the pause in between breaths. And enjoy those pauses. A moment that you're free from breathing. A moment of deep stillness. Of deep peace. let's take a gentle inhalation through the nose and a triple exhalation through the mouth. Gently, I'll show you. And then keep the breath out as long as it's comfortable, simply enjoying this moment of stillness before you need to breathe. The body can be totally still, but letting the breath flow in when it needs to. But now, not watching the breath anymore, not paying attention to breathing at all, just sitting in the stillness and peace that you have created. Letting the peace expand, letting it fill your heart. From there, your brain, your belly, your limbs, and finally radiating that peace around you into the room, into the whole city, and into the whole world. Now let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out. You can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. It was lovely. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very wonderful rest of the week.